Welcome back to Briggs on Books, our international talk show where we talk to many authors from all over the world about their books, about their ideas, about their life. And most of our interviews are over Zoom because, today we've had 3 guests from the United Kingdom, 1 guest from Canada, 2 from the United States. So most of the time, people make their appearance, but sometimes they don't. But they always have a big excuse as to why they couldn't come. So a couple weeks ago, this next guest was scheduled, and I'm calling him, Dr. Savarin, it's your time. Where are you? And he says, Mike, I'm trying to connect, but we're under a giant hurricane right now. So welcome, Dr. Savarin. I'm very happy you made it this time without any natural disasters. Now, when the hurricane came, where were you located?
Yes, thank you. I'm here, safe and sound. Well, I am originally from the island of Dominica, which is in the Caribbean, but right now I am studying my specialty, so I'm in Santiago, Cuba.
Okay.
I'm studying to be a urologist.
Oh, great. Now, when the hurricane came, where were you located at that time?
Well, I was actually on the campus, and the hurricane was over the whole island, and it caused a huge power outage,
Yeah.
and it was a bit scary. But everything came back on soon after.
That's great. That's great. By the way, you are our first guest ever we've talked to from Cuba. It's a new era where we can talk to people in Cuba. I really appreciate your time. Now, you've got 3 books out. I wanted to ask you first about your most recent book, A Night at the ER. Tell us a little bit about that book.
Okay, so this book is called A Night at the ER, Other Tales and Musings. It's a combination of short stories and poems that I've written throughout my life. Obviously, the titular story, A Night at the ER, is taken from my own experiences working back home in the ER department. And I include a little bit of our own Dominican folklore, our own stories of scary monsters and stuff. I love. And I also included lots of poems about different experiences in my life. And one of these poems even won an award back home.
Yeah, by the way, I have a picture of that award here. Congratulations on that. And that was for one of the poems in the book?
Yes, so this poem is called Triple Jump. That is a poem inspired by our first Olympic gold medal for Dominica that came in the Paris Olympics this year. That was from Mrs. Fia Lafont.
Yeah.
She won Olympic gold in the triple jump event, hence the title of the poem.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I read so many books. I'm always in a position where I'm trying to pick my next book to read. And so if there's some notice or an award or something like that, that really helps me pick my next book to read. So congratulations. I hope this helps make your book very popular.
Thank you.
I'm also very interested in some of your other books. I have the cover here for Mr. Earl. Sounds like a fascinating tale. Tell us a little bit about that book. The book Mr. Earl.
So most of my writings come from dreams. And Mr. Earl started out as a dream. So I keep this little notebook next to my bed and I write it down as soon as I wake up before I forget it. So this is a tale of a young man who aspires to the great things in his island. He wants to be a great cricketer. So one day he decides to take his father's truck and he drives in the middle of the night to deliver the fresh produce to the market because agriculture is very important to our island. Unbeknownst to him, he picks up a hitchhiker who appears to be innocent. But unbeknownst to him, this turns out to be something that changes his entire life. And he has to battle this evil that he unleashes.
Yeah.
By the innocent act of picking up someone he thought was an innocent hitchhiker.
Nice. Now, who is this book written for? Is it a story that anybody would like to read? Is it for young people? Is it for children?
This story is for anybody. It's for young people. I am actually a very big fan of Stephen King books. So that influenced some of my writing, of course. And I include some of our stories. There's actually a folklore story back home in Dominica of the old man that you see in the middle of the road in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
I used that folklore to create this story.
Now, is all of your work, are they all written in English?
Yes, all my works are written in English. There will be a few words and phrases that are taken from our local Creole,
Hmm.
but most of the book is written in English.
Yeah.
So
Great.
any English speaker can follow the books.
Now, I have one more book here. I don't see the title on it. Is this your first book?
My first book is called Prodigal of Dominica.
Yeah. And are all of the books still available on Amazon and all the other places?
Yes, all of the books are available on Amazon.
Mhm.
And you can just go to Amazon and you look for my name on Amazon, Vince Savarin, and you can see the free books, Prodigal of Dominica, Mr. Earl, and then the last one, A Night at the Ear.
Now, I know that what you're doing right now, studying your specialty, you're a medical doctor and you're working on your specialty right now. That is a lot. That's very intensive work and study. Do you still have time to write?
Well, actually, I find writing helps relieve the stress of
Nice.
the work.
Writing
And
is your relaxation.
yes,
Yeah.
truth be told, the harder the work gets,
Yeah.
the more I am inspired to write.
Hmm. Now, do you write when you sit down at your keyboard and start writing, or do you write mostly in your head and then commit it to a keyboard?
Well, like I said, the first two books, especially the Prodigal of Dominica and the Mr. Earl story, these stories came to me in a dream.
Hmm.
The first book, Prodigal of Dominica, that came to me during the pandemic. During the pandemic, I was volunteering at the COVID center back home.
Yeah.
And I remember one night I had a dream as if the whole entire country was decimated.
Yeah.
And I woke up and I started writing a story based on that dream.
Wow.
And that is how I wrote the first book.
Good. Do you have another book completed already?
Well, Prodigal of Dominica is something I plan to make into a trilogy. I have to take it to its logical end. I have to show how the protagonist finds out how the island got destroyed, what happened to the civilization. I even plan on doing a prequel to this book to explain the natural disaster that destroyed the entire island. I love science fiction.
Well, I appreciate you coming back after your hurricane experience. You came back and talked to us, and I'm glad you did. And I just want to invite you back and talk to you anytime you have a book out. You're fascinating. I want to follow your medical career as well as your literary career. And where do you see yourself ending up? Back in Dominica?
I want to give back to my country when I am finished studying, help my country, and hopefully contribute not just in the medical aspect but in the literary aspect as well. I hope I can inspire more children in Dominica to write.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, one of my colleagues from the island of Antigua, because there are different people studying here in this university, they are international students. When I showed him one of the books, he said, wow, this inspires him to go encourage his own daughter to start writing. And I was glad that I could inspire someone like that.
Great. Vince, we have to go. I'm sorry. I'd like to talk to you a lot longer. They only give us 10 or 12 minutes, but I just want to give you a minute. Do you have any last thoughts about your books or about you or anything you want our viewers to know before we go?
I'd just like people to know that, hey, this is Vince Savarin. I'm a doctor, but I'm also a writer. I write from my head and I write from my heart. And I hope you find some great entertainment in this holiday season with my latest book. I hope you get inspired by the stories, poems, or even the artwork. It's all original, done by me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I'm inspired by you and what you do, and writing and being creative and becoming a doctor and living in multiple countries. It's amazing. You're an amazing man, and I hope you'll come back on the show again soon.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
And for our viewers, go to Amazon and order these books. Our holiday season is coming up. You're going to want to give gifts. These would make fantastic gifts for people. Collectible books, I would think. Thank you, Vince. And we will talk to you the next time. Goodbye, Dal.
Thank you. All right.
Welcome back